everyone. Welcome to another episode and a new year of the Fourtress of a podcast about movies and TV shows and video games and lots of pop culture nerd things. My name is Oscar. I'll be one of your hosts today, and with me, per usual, not all four of us. Alex sends his wishes. And a happy new year to all the listeners. But we do got your other two hosts, Brian and Devin. How is everyone doing after a big long break?
Yo,
that energy. That man's excited.
I know, man.
Excited to be back.
I was dying before the end of the year, and then this break really helped.
Yeah. Hello, 2023.
Now I'm back up to like 80%.
Oh no, it'll be gone by March.
Mm-hmm.
Very happy to see you all. Miss y'all. You know, New Year, work wise, and everything else is. I'm just drained again. It didn't really last more than 2 years.
Right.
Russ, never heard of her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's good to be back. 2023, a weird year. Okay, but so yeah, it's great to be back, and hopefully all you listeners are back to join us because we got some fun content for you guys coming up.
We'll have some stuff to mention.
Oh yeah. If you want to skip any spoilers or skip any sections or anything like that, listeners, check the time codes for all that stuff. It's been a while. I almost forgot how to do this. With that, guys, shall we start with our first segment of the week?
Here we go.
It.
News talk.
So over the break, a bunch of different news things happened. So we're gonna kind of rattle through some of those things that occurred. And the first one being literally about 10 minutes ago. We prolonged this recording just so we could catch the Mandalorian season 3 trailer. Aired at halftime of a really miserable football game, but whatever. Man, it looks dope. I'm very excited. Like lots of Mandalorians. I want to see more of that baby Grogu Jedi flashback. It looked like we got there for a split second.
And also, he's just really growing into his force powers. But yeah, you can't go wrong with more Mandalorians jumping out of planes and stuff. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Maybe some kind of Mandalorian civil war we'll see. I feel like something bad's going to happen and we're going to see something like that. Right. I don't know.
Someone's got to die. We know who it's probably going to be.
Yeah,
it's not gonna be the Mandalorian, that's for sure.
No,
he's gonna be if he ends up leading all of Mandalorian, he's gonna be a terrible leader. This guy's not, it's not a skill set.
No, he sucks. He needs friends. He needs friends.
And this is gonna be weird. That I wonder if it's gonna be a thing where it turns into where he like actually defeats someone and they die or something like that, or it becomes like another buddy cop thing where it's like, hey, even though you lost, you deserve this. I'm ahead.
Oh yeah,
and you be the leader from now on, and then they do the little handshake thing, and then that's so Disney and that's so boring, but I feel like that's probably what will end up being. Or, they have to fight a greater evil, and that's going to be what brings everybody together and stops the war itself.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, at one point, there were like fireworks. So there's a celebration at some point.
Right.
Someone's happy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But you did bring a good point that looks like little Grogu he doesn't immediately take a nap after doing a big force push this time.
Yeah. He's growing. He's growing slowly but surely. I mean, we need... On his time, he'll be an adult in another,
century.
80 seasons of Mandalorian. So,
right.
Which Disney Plus absolutely is planning to make. Don't have no doubt.
Yeah, but it looks good. I'm very excited. March 1st. We'll talk about this probably. I don't know about this episode, but look forward to the future listeners. The Last of Us is the beginning of what we were going to call the Pedro Pascal-assance, where we're just getting nothing but him for like 6 months.
He is a household name.
Man has gotten his main character saga for sure. He's definitely gotten his character arc in the anime.
There's gonna be like I think a week, like 2 to 3 weeks where The Last of Us will be airing at the same time as Mandalorian. So that'll be fun.
Oh wow,
that's wild.
Yeah,
he went from getting his head like just squeezed in to being a household name. Are we considering it? I think he's an A-lister. I would call him A+.
I think so.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, A+.
I think him being in Wonder Woman kind of did
solidified it. Yeah, he got on the silver screen.
Yeah, he got on a big superhero. Once you're getting a superhero game, it kind of
He also carried that movie on his fucking back. So let's be real.
He did.
True.
He did.
True. He was too good for it.
Speaking of Marvel, though, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania got a new trailer. I only got to say one thing: Kang is going to beat the ever-living shit out of Scott Lang in this movie, dude. Holy shit. He stomps him out.
Is he going to die?
That seems to be the question, dude. I don't know.
I feel bad because, I'm 100% rooting for Kang. And he's killed his Avengers many times over, and I would like to see him do it again.
Well, it's kind of like the Thanos thing where it's like you want them to be a good villain, so you need them to kind of do some villainous shit,
right.
to our heroes. They They can't be like Marvel's always had a bad villain problem, but they've gotten better with people like Thanos and Killmonger, and hopefully at this point Kang. I don't think they'll kill Scott Lang. I think it might be a thing where everyone thinks he's dead. Maybe he's stuck in the quantum realm or some shit. I don't know. It's definitely an image of Ant-Man we haven't seen in any of his films, where he's beaten, he's bloodied, he's bruised. You know, like he's doing exactly what we thought when we heard Kang was the villain. It was like, he don't stand a chance.
He can't joke his way out of this one, unfortunately.
No.
Yeah.
I have another thing to say. MODOK looks fucking stupid as hell.
Oh,
my
there it
God.
is.
And I know there's no other choice.
Of all the redesigns that Marvel has done, they decided to stop on this one. Like, you know what? This one we'll just leave as it is in the comics. Like,
Look, I'm on the side of I like it because, like, if you redesign MODOK, who has a very distinct look, then what's the point of doing MODOK?
just don't.
You
just
know?
don't, though. Like,
I was
Well,
kinda
that's
on
what I'm
that-
saying.
I
Like,
was
they
kinda
get
on
him in
that
this
side.
movie. They're probably gonna kill him. He's never gonna be seen again. But then you get your MODOK fans who are happy, whatever. You know.
I just got to see what the face looks like animated. If they do ever have him like maskless and talking.
I
Like,
think
often.
in real motion it'll look better. Yeah.
'Cause right now it's
Oh my
looking
God.
like some bad Marvel CG. Like we've been
That
pretty
one
used to over the
still
past few
image
years.
going around is pretty bad.
It looks pretty rough. It looks like I did that in Photoshop in about 12
it looks
minutes.
very goofy.
Yeah. His armor looks way better.
But
Yeah.
he's like a head in a cylinder with like little tiny arms and legs. I mean, that's just like a ridiculous, like, I don't know. We started off with Iron Man 1 and now we're here.
I
Like,
think there are ways to do it. Maybe putting him in like water or something and like making it look like that. Like, I don't know. I think there's ways they could play with
I
it
don't know.
instead of just making a face sticking out of a
Yeah.
weird tiny body like
Yeah.
that. 'Cause that shit, and it's stretched
Yeah.
too. That it's superimposed
yeah.
look is looking really bad. I don't know.
yeah.
We'll see.
MODOK,
We'll
I
see.
don't know.
I think it'll be a thing where it looks better in motion, and hopefully he'll have that little armor plated over his face most of the time, so it'll look a
But
little better.
he kind of fits in, I guess, because like, you know, the quantum realm, you could do whatever you want. Because like I saw there's that one
Yeah.
shot that keeps showing of like 3 beings just kind of like walking up, and it's like Marvel. I think they've gone so cosmic now with like you could insert people from like the Guardian saga or you know,
Right.
Thor's space stuff. They're all just very disposable, like, you know, outer space people-y, alien-y.
I mean, that's what kind of
stuff,
makes me
and it's
mad.
like-
Some of those character designs look pretty cool, and I know they'll never be used ever again because they're just throwaway for this movie.
Right.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah. Speaking of character designs, real quick, how do you guys feel about Kang being blue but not really being blue?
It looks a little goofy. You know, I have some
Okay.
issues with some of the Guardians characters and the way they look kind of goofy too with their colorations. I think it's fine.
Well,
I'm
just
not-
the idea that it's like a visor almost.
Right.
Yeah, it's like a visor, and then he takes it off.
Which I'm also like, I'm in two minds where I'm like, he's blue, but you kind of like want it to be comic accurate. But I'm also happy that they didn't put another person of color in blue makeup or
Exactly.
green makeup or
Yeah.
anything like that, you
Right.
know?
Yeah, I figured it was gonna end up looking like what's her face, Zodana, with that green look. Where
Yeah.
he probably would have looked just
Right.
really stupid. So
Right.
yeah, I'm fine with it. I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't need it to be comic book accurate personally. I think if you
Yeah,
use some
exactly.
liberties with things like that, I think that could be interesting.
And I think
Yeah.
the actor can convey more emotion and stuff with their face, which is why they want, you know, like, but I think in his original look, he has like white eyes, right? Like there's a lot of people in comic books that have like white eyes.
Right. And it's also the thing that we don't even know if this is going to be like the last Kang we see, you
Right.
know, because we've been introduced
Mhm.
to the multiverse. Now there's multiple Kangs. This could be a version that maybe does win or does lose in this ultimately. And then we just get another one. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm
So
pissed. I want to see him actually span for real multiple movies, not fake multiple. You know what I mean?
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But I definitely think we'll see multiple of them.
Hmm.
But I think this one might be our main one. But I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, man, they're really giving this. They're saying that this is like the equivalent to like Civil War in terms of being important to the MCU. So we'll see.
Hmm.
And they made an Ant-Man movie.
Yep, sure did.
That was a choice that
Yeah.
was made.
Yeah. All right, let's quickly bounce from Marvel to DC. We got a couple big things that happened over the break. Was this was just funny. Black Adam is dead. The Rock apparently him and James Gunn have a conversation, and James Gunn is not including Black Adam, at least in their initial DC universe, which everyone and their mother saw coming except for The Rock.
It's so funny because he tried to pretend that he handled it with grace by like trying to talk about it. And it took him a while to make that post. Also,
No.
which I thought was super funny because he was definitely being delusional about it. But it was also funny
Oh,
how
yeah.
people noticed that he had like unfollowed Warner Brothers on Instagram and stuff. He was being
Right.
a little duty butthole about it in the beginning, and it's kind of all his fault that it ended up this way anyway. Uh,
Yeah.
there was a correct way to go about this that probably would at least got him in 2 movies, but he fucked up and got too big headed and made the most mid movie I've ever seen before in my life.
Oh my god,
Kind of love it
Yep.
for him.
such DC luck, man. I don't know. They just cannot stop shooting themselves in the foot.
No, I'm okay with this one not continuing.
Yes, correct.
I'm upset about the Superman part, but I'm okay
Yeah.
with I'm like, all right, Dr. Fate's gone. It's like that was the best part, so it don't matter,
But
whatever.
it's still like, I mean, I don't know. Like yes, the first one was kind of shaky, but like they definitely could do some fun stuff with Black Adam if they kept him.
If they had put him in fucking Shazam, that would have been a great start.
Exactly. I think if The Rock was more game about doing stuff, that the comics would have done, aka making him the villain in Shazam, I think that would have been perfect. But no, he wanted to be the hero and
Right.
have his own franchise and be the face of it, and he shot himself in the foot.
True.
But speaking of it, apparently that wasn't the only thing he did that was really shitty. Apparently, there was a bit of a dilemma that DC or Warner Brothers was upset about, and it has something to do with a tequila bar.
Terramana?
Yes. So, apparently, this is all being reported by in Variety's report. So apparently, like The Rock went behind some of some execs at Warner Brothers and went straight to the head of Warner Brothers, David Zaslav, to pitch the whole Black Adam versus Superman thing and bringing Henry Cavill back and all this stuff. And also, this is where the tequila comes into play. Apparently, Variety's report chronicles a long series of events through his relationship with WB, an added expense to Black Adam's budget, apparently. One such account, he demanded a tequila bar featuring his brand of tequila be set up for the PG-13 film's premiere. PG-13 film's premiere, which is pretty weird.
Under the age of drinking.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know. That's not considering what some people do. I feel
apparently
like
the reshoots had to cost like $40 million.
I did hear the research.
40 million?
Yeah, the reshoots were really heavy on the movie, and that's probably one of the biggest reasons why the movie didn't make its money back. But actually putting it into the cost, your stupid fucking tequila bar is ridiculous, and I hate you for that. The Rock, if you're listening, what the fuck, man? Like, stop. I get that you just want money, but like, you got enough. Stop.
He just wanted that Instagram live from the premiere so he could have a toast with Terramana tequila.
Bring
from
your
the
own
premiere.
bottle, then, bro. Bring a bottle, a couple glasses. We'll call it a day. Stop being weird.
Dang, man.
This is the kind of man that asks for like all like red peanut M&Ms and nothing else in there. That kind of shit. It's really superfluous shit to be.
That's funny.
Yeah. So there's that. Moving on. More DC stuff. Apparently, WB is reportedly willing to move forward with one Ezra Miller. So apparently they're still interested, which is kind of I don't know, nuts considering they're slashing every other person that isn't a criminal.
Yeah.
It makes me so mad just as a whole, because not even just the whole situation of the crazy villainous arc that Ezra went through, and then like nearly evading actual prison time. I just don't even see why would it make sense to not can someone that
Yes.
is part of a universe that already exists. Like that's the one person that's not gonna get canned.
Yeah.
Are you gonna put them into another universe with new people? It's kind
of nuts.
What's gonna happen? Are you gonna make them reverse Flash? Like, is that just the whole play at the end of the day?
I mean, that would make
could
sense.
work.
That's the only way
that would be
it could work.
genius.
Because I don't understand seeing like the only person that I recognize on the screen being them doesn't. What? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Again, like I think you said it before the break, we don't even have a trailer for the Flash movie yet, which is supposed to come out in like May or June or some shit. So I don't know, man.
I'm just trying to figure out, is it like one of those things where it's like this was such bad news that people will hate watch these things, so maybe we need to do more of that to like kind of like generate some fake money? Like I just don't understand that.
I don't know.
Yeah, no news is bad news.
When Henry Cavill would have brought you billions, like come on.
Right. Honestly,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised considering all the positive feedback we heard about the movie during like pre-screenings this past like summer or whatever, that if people come out of this and be like, all right, we're cool with them staying. I honestly wouldn't be surprised. I think Warner Brothers is probably banking like, okay, we got 6 months for everything just to die down and everything cools off, and then we'll roll it out there and people will love them again,
I do not want to be in that boardroom making this conversation, because I feel like that is
hell
such a
no.
dice roll as a whole.
Being in the DC boardroom just has to be a constant nightmare. Like just when you think you might start, you're building a foundation, you might get something good going, and then like they put power in Black Adam, and then Kanye goes insane. Like just
Oh,
stuff
I
like
know.
that.
I know.
Or like, you're making a Flashpoint movie, and then Ezra Miller kidnaps a person, and like it's like what? It's just like one thing after another. Is you can never catch a break. And meanwhile, Marvel's over there just like running smoothly, like everything's going perfect, and it's like DC's just a fucking mess, dude.
Yeah, and then Warner Brothers doing the thing with HBO Max with all that stuff, taking a bunch of stuff off and then raising the price by $1. Like, why are you making such harsh, bad decisions? All your decisions are the wrong decision. How do you pick all the wrong dialogue choices in a video game? Like, that's what they're doing right now.
Yeah, the cognitive distance of bringing back Henry Cavill only to a week later. Like he made the announcement like a week or 2 weeks before they then announced out, just kidding, he's not coming back.
That's so funny.
That
dude.
one is pretty sad.
It's just just get it together, guys. Come on. Like, I don't know. It's hilarious. It is.
But hey, that 2025 Superman's gonna be lit, brother. I tell you what.
Oh man.
Oh my God. We'll fucking see. Jesus.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's the news from a couple weeks. Yeah, guys, are you all ready to get to our anticipated main topic of the week?
Hell
God.
But first, we are once again trapped in our very first fortress of the year. This fortress, we're underwater. It looks incredible.
Kinda.
And it's very close to making its goal of at least $2 billion because goddamn, holy shit, it just can't stop making money. Because we're in the fortress of
The Way of the Water.
One of the weirdest movie franchises to ever exist as
Avatar,
far as
not the good one.
marketing and
The less good Avatar, which is also going to be about all four elements by the time it's all said and done.
that's so funny. 'Cause
yeah.
People say when people talk about Avatar, yeah, you might have made billions of dollars, but we always think about the Avatar Last Airbender. So we got the street cred, even though you got the fucking money.
You'll never have
Right,
the streets.
Yeah, listeners, we're finally doing it. We promised we'd do it as soon as we got back from break. We're doing Avatar: The Way of Water, the next James Cameron film that is very close. Apparently, it's about to pass Spider-Man: No Way Home to become the 6th highest grossing movie of all time, which is just fucking incredible.
My
I
mans
love it.
don't miss.
I hope he gets all the money. He can't miss. He don't miss.
My man can't miss. It's crazy.
It's nuts. And
I
based
hope
on
he does.
Devin's look, I'm very excited to talk about it. Real quick, we're going to do non-spoilers. Also, Brian hasn't seen it yet, but he doesn't care about spoilers.
I find it hard to care about this movie as a whole. I'm sorry, I didn't watch the movie, so for me to have an opinion on any of this is ridiculous as a whole. But I want to talk about my opinion as someone that has not seen the movie. I don't understand why Avatar is such a hailed movie. The first one, this franchise, the fact that they have their own like Disney World area or whatever, all that kind of shit. None of this makes any sense to me. Because I swear that
I will tell you why.
I still can't. I still don't even know what the fuck this movie is even about. Not a single trailer even told me about what the storyline is about. And then somehow people are still seeing this movie this many weeks later at such a high level that it's now about to pass $2 billion. When Spider No Way or Far From Home or whatever was so hailed and people were so excited, and it still made less money than this, a movie I don't even know anything about. It's crazy to me. It's just I feel like it's fake. I feel like something's happening and it's not real.
I agree.
Avatar's made all the money that The Rock was talking about Black Adam making that it didn't actually make.
God. Fucking James Cameron can loan the rest of the money towards Black Adam and still have made $2 billion.
Probably. Look, no spoilers, we'll say at first. I will tell you right now why. It's because this world's gorgeous. This world's incredibly amazing. For me, I've seen it twice already, and I already have my ticket to see it a third time. I fucking love this movie. I love watching it visually, and I will say it's better than the first one. And the characters are better than the first one. Devin's got a look on his face.
What?
I'm telling you, man, there's more character development in this movie than in the first one. We'll talk about
God,
it.
I'd hope so.
Yeah, which I'm saying wasn't that hard of a bar to clear, but it did. I'm sorry. That's what happened.
True.
And yeah, I will also say I feel so bad for The Little Mermaid, Aquaman 2, any other
underwater
movie
ever is ruined.
that is going to be set underwater because you're fucked. You're fucked. No movie is going to look better than this movie did. I'm sorry. You're screwed. Warner Brothers, you're already canceling all the DC shit. Shut Aquaman 2 down. Disney, turn off Little Mermaid. Give it up. You can't do it. It's going to look like crap. This movie made all the underwater shit in Black Panther look terrible.
Yeah, but I already thought it didn't look great, so that wasn't.
It's fucking done. Because this movie, this is why I'm seeing it so many times, because It's just an experience you need to see on the look for the biggest and
Uh,
brightest screen you can find and see it in 3D because you won't find an experience like this. It's
okay.
incredible,
Yeah.
and that's all I'm going there for. And I will also say one other thing that I is a great thing about it. This movie is like 3 hours and 10 minutes long, and
Mhm.
it's still feels shorter than the Batman, which is a shorter movie, even though that movie's so long. This movie's pacing is top notch in my opinion, to the point where I've seen it twice and I didn't feel the length either time. And I
Hmm.
was like, holy shit, it moves. Like it moves. There's some people I've heard that like there's like obviously there's things that probably can be cut from it, but the stuff that you would cut is so visually stimulating that I don't care.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's me. Devin, go ahead and shit on everything.
I mean, I want to preface my comments by saying when the first one came out, I was on the hype train. I saw it like 4 or 5 times, 3D, 2D, different groups of friends. Who's going? I don't care. I'm going. I saw this movie once. So maybe that factored into my opinion. I thought it looked really cool, but the thing that I kept on thinking throughout the entire movie was like, why make all these really cool visuals and spend all this money on this amazing world and like, do this to just say nothing with the story, like to just say absolutely fucking nothing. Like,
And you know what? I agree with what you're saying, but at the same time, I think it's an unfair criticism because what did Top Gun say?
planes are cool.
Exactly. Shut the fuck up. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think because we want to dog on James Cameron and Avatar so badly, we forget that Top Gun was just Star Wars. That didn't tell me anything, but it was a fucking great fucking time at the theater. And I think that's what James Cameron is so good at this point in his career. He's just making an amazing theatrical
Well, yeah,
experience.
but I guess my issue is I defended the first movie, and I think the first movie to me had a more cohesive. Not maybe cohesive isn't the right word, but
It
like
did have
a
more
better.
cohesive things. It's probably a real thing that was already created. Dances with Wolves.
True. I mean, yeah, it was basically space Pocahontas, and it's like, but at least that
Yeah.
says something. Like the end of the story means it matters, right? The end of the story like has meaning, and it like yes, it's a pretty basic story, but whatever. This movie was just mashing a bunch of stuff together just for cool visuals, and it's like it. I hate when sequels do this. They immediately negate the first movie, and that just to put the characters where they need to have them. And then it says nothing about like the tribes winning against the humans in the first one. They instantly nuke the fucking forest in the first 5 minutes and erase everything that happened in the first movie.
Devin, I got a New Year's resolution for you to know when spoilers start. That's what I New Year's
Sorry.
resolution for
Sorry.
you.
But anyway, it's just like, why make all these visuals and say like,
Check the time codes.
I wasn't attached to any of Jake Sully and Neytiri's kids. Could not tell you their names.
Oh, see,
Could not
I
tell you
was.
any
We'll
of
get into
the
it.
other people's names. I mean, it was literally the same and it was just the same story as the first one, just underwater. They did nothing new with the story.
I see what you're saying, but I disagree in the sense that it's the same because I think they could have done things at the end that would have made it exactly the same, and I thought they made interesting changes to that. So we'll get into. We'll get into it. To Brian's point, why is there a park at Disney World? Because this shit is amazing to look at and be in this world. That's why. That's why.
It's kind of funny because I see where you're both coming from. I see where like Devin's coming from. He feels like, and I think a lot of that comes from unfortunately the way that James Cameron speaks about his own shit, and I think that's just being a super smart
Yeah.
dick rider. Obviously incredibly talented human being because he does make Avatar sound like this should be the best thing on Earth. Because in his mind, it is. Like in his mind, it's probably all he fucking dreams about every single night. And then to do all of that and not have a meaning just feels like almost artistic, like I don't know, self implosion. Where it's like, yeah, movies can totally just be fun to watch and that be it. And that's honestly what these movies end up turning into be. But just like someone that's made so many movies that do have like feels like some more purpose than this. It's funny that this is the hill that he decides to die on with this movie.
Yeah,
where it's just fun to look at, and that's about it. And you just tell the same boring ass story over and over again.
And that's because that was the main criticism. Like the first one, I get it. Like, the point of the first movie is really to introduce us to this world and have these cool visuals and like, and Jake Sully, the big part of it is like him learning how to ride his like winged beast thing and going through the initiation in the tribe, right? That's like the things you remember of that movie is like, him running through the trees and the floating rocks and stuff like that. Like very cool, right? Like And then, yes, it's a very basic story of like anti-colonialism, like push the humans off. Yay, the Na'vi win. It's great. This was the same exact thing. It's just like, oh, we're going to go to a
To
new
a
tribe
degree,
and do
yeah.
some cool underwater stuff and have some cool shots of like, a Free Willy shot of like, him swimming around with the whale and stuff like that. Like that was the visuals he wanted to make. But the story wrapped around that was just so bad. And like, for me, some of the acting was terrible. Like, but I just like,
Oh, interesting.
I just thought that, it's like, why spend all this money and not just tell a good story? Like, I don't know, like, or tell a story worth telling. I don't know.
I think there's elements to that could have been deeper. I think he tackles some environmentalism elements in there, but obviously that's not the main point. Because I will say, by the end of this movie, James Cameron, he just knows how to direct action. I was fully enthralled in the final action sequence of this movie. He just knows how to direct. He's just fucking a great filmmaker.
Yeah.
So with that, before we get in any further, let's just go spoilers from here. Look, again, let's talk about the visuals. Go see it for that. But so there's a 10-year time jump, Brian. So which also works because it's been like 13 years since that first one.
It's a literal 10-year time jump.
Yeah. But I really liked all of his kids. So he has 4 kids. He's got an oldest son
My bro was
named
working.
Nitayam.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and he's got he's got an oldest son, then another son named Loak, who is like your main character, I would say, of the movie, or the main child is him. And then he's got a surrogate daughter named Kiri, who we'll talk about her purpose because she's basically Jesus of this universe.
Oh no.
And then he's got a youngest little daughter named Took. I really enjoyed all the kids' shit, and I will also say, since we're talking about the kids, let's talk about one of the main ones, Kiri, because she's got the weirdest backstory in the sense that she is the daughter of Sigourney Weaver's character from the first movie, but she's the daughter of the blue avatar, and apparently the avatar was pregnant, and it's like an immaculate conception. They don't know how it happened. And so Sigourney Weaver also plays this younger version, this Kiri child, which I will say, I thought Sigourney Weaver was good. I thought she was really good as playing this child.
They did a good job of whatever voice modulation they did.
Yeah, I was about to ask. I was like, how do you play with
I don't think they did. I think that's all her.
Oh, you think they didn't change it at all? I mean, you could definitely tell it was her. But yeah, I don't know.
That's really
it didn't phase me at all. Like didn't.
No, I think she did a great job. I also like the idea that like she kind of has a budding romance with this like 20-something-year-old dude, and I just like the behind the scenes of this 20-something-year-old dude like flirting with, not gonna lie, gorgeous like 60-year-old Sigourney Weaver, but just that idea is very fun.
And the mocap suits.
Yeah. But yeah, so Loak is like the main. He's the outcast of the group of the 4 of them because he doesn't live up to his older brothers as like he's the perfect son. So Loak is the outcast, and he's like your main character throughout it. I don't know. I enjoyed. I think he's a total dumbass, and we're in spoilers. He does nothing but get in trouble and get his brother in trouble, and by the end of the movie, he gets his brother killed. Like period. He absolutely gets his brother killed.
Yeah, I don't know. I just forgot their names, but I never really learned their names. I don't know. Maybe I'm not the best one to remember.
No, to be fair, like the names were hard. Like I had to go back and look up their names to be sure. The only ones I knew was Kiri because they say it like a million times.
This is a movie where I need some subtitles on so I can see pronunciation guides and shit.
Yeah, basically.
It's sad because like the first one, I loved the first movie, and like they win, they kick the humans off the planet, and then one night, and then 10 years go by, and he's like, yeah, we're raising kids, and Neytiri and I are having a great time, and we're just like, he's the chief of the tribe, whatever. And then they just see all these like shooting stars come in, and it's like, 20 of like the one ship that brought him in the first one. There's like 20 or 30 of those, and then they just send in this like missile that just like levels the forest. Like
immediately
it
fucks
blows
it up,
like
yeah.
a 30-mile wide like hole in the forest, and it's like all those critters and creatures that like rallied at the end of the first movie that like beat the humans just get vaporized. And I'm like,
they got 10 good years.
And I'm sitting there like, why do we have to do this, man? Like, why can't we just?
They're like, nah, man, the forest is big. There's still some.
Oh God. And then they're talking about like the humans are talking about like, oh, guess what? Not only are humans like, gonna come here and take the resources, but also humans don't die anymore. We're like immortal. So
I will say that is the dumbest part of this movie. I will admit that. So there's a new There's a new, you know how the first one there's unobtainium? It's the rock that they're all looking for.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
new unobtainium,
Oh,
basically.
now it's mithril.
And it comes from the brains of these fucking space whales that they have to kill and just like ooze out their brain liquid. And it literally causes humans to stop aging. And that's the whole point that they're there.
Yep.
It's in there for like 5 minutes and then you never hear about it ever again. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, sorry, listeners. I'm making the dumbest face on earth because what the fuck is that? What?
No, there's
Yeah.
2 jumps. So there's one where they like, there's one to time jump from like them, just kind of a montage of the kids growing up, and then there's when the humans land. Then a year later, they jump to a year later from when the humans land again, and they have this big fort, this like big city fort that's just like massive with these massive cannons, and like there's like these whalers that are all over the ocean. They're like, oh, we just, it's very casual for them to like hunt these whales now, who like obviously because it's Pandora, they have this like really emotional connection to their tribe, and like they're like very intelligent and all this stuff. And I think obviously James Cameron's making a lot of environmental parallels there, but I was like, it's just fucking tragic, like and then they're like and then the humans are like gonna colonize. Like the whole time I'm like terrified for the future of this planet, because I'm like, these Na'vi are gonna get completely wiped out by the humans, and now it's just a casual fact of life that the humans are on the planet. And I think in that time jump also, the thing that really bothered me was how human like the Na'vi tribe became, of like when they were doing like hit and run raids on that like train. It's like the fact that they're basically insurgents now. It felt too Earth-like to have like these people holding like machine guns and stuff. And
I want to say they made a whole mobile game about that, where you got to play an MMO and you got to shoot at people with your machine guns as Na'vi. It didn't do well.
Shit.
It actually went under, I'm pretty sure, pretty recently.
But it just felt so like, I don't know.
I mean, it makes sense in the sense, if Jake Sully is your leader, he's literally from Earth and a military man like that. It makes sense that he would teach them to do these things,
Yeah, but I think part of what made the first one so special was that like because they were so alien and like different.
Right.
And communal. They were a commune. Like they're fucking not like Native American people, if anything. Like,
and like little things like he'd be talking to his kids like in military speak, like, do you copy that, like roger that, and stuff like that. And it's just like I thought they'd be more alien, like so I don't know.
Well, they also make it the point in the very beginning of the movie that Jake Sully's narrating and he's talking about like, oh, I have all these kids, and he's like, we speak Na'vi like so fluently at this point, or like when my kids speak Na'vi, that basically when I hear them, it sounds like English. So that's their excuse that everyone in the movie can speak in English and not in Na'vi the whole time.
They just
it's because of that.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, okay, that's a quick and easy way to do that,
Yeah. But I don't know. They were just so casual about the humans' reintroduction to, Pandora, and then the fact that character-wise, like the whole thing in the first movie is that she's like my tribe, my people, like your memories are in these trees, like you're very attached to like where you are and your tribe and everything. And then he's like, oh, they're hunting us, so we got to just dip, like, so let's go, like let's leave the tribe. Like the fact that they just dip like that instead of standing fighting.
She doesn't want to, like they have an argument about it, but then eventually she's like, yeah, okay, I guess we got to go.
Yeah, and I know that they had to move them to the water for the the point of making this movie was to get the water visuals.
Right.
But it's like it just was, I don't know. I just wish that they had maybe found some other way to do that, but I don't know.
That's fair.
But you know what? At least they did not massacre the entire tribe, which I guess they could have.
No, yeah. But as we're talking about the humans coming back, we'll quickly talk about the central villain, which Brian, they bring back the same guy from the first movie, basically, which we saw in the trailer, but in the movie. So basically, it's he wakes up in an avatar body, and he watches like basically like a video log of his old self, human self, saying, "Hey, if you're watching this, I died." And but we're gonna take all my memories and send them to Earth, where they're cooking my avatar body like a baby, and yada yada. That's how he's
Palpatine shit. Okay.
Yeah. It's quick and easy. It's just like that. But I will say, I kind of liked. I was okay with it, obviously, because we kind of saw from the trailer that he was gonna be the central villain, and we knew he was back. Also, because I like the idea that this dude who completely hated the Na'vi species in the first one is now one of them. They didn't explore it as much as I wish they would in this movie, but I'm hoping, because spoilers, he survives this movie. And James Cameron has said he is going to be in all of them as like the central villain. But I would not be surprised if they do a thing where because he is a Navi now, maybe he does the same thing that Jake does, and he learns learns to that they're not horrible creatures that he hates and blah blah blah. Maybe get a team up with him and Sully to fight off the rest of the humans, or he is just the bad guy. I don't know, but I kind of like the idea that he is now the enemy that he
What
hated.
kind of comic book
Yeah.
villainous shit is this? Where he just keeps coming back
Oh
over
yeah,
and over
oh yeah,
again?
yeah.
Yeah.
I might be here. I might be on Devin's side. This writing is fucking garbage. What the
But
fuck?
that's the thing. Like they could get into that, and they don't. Like, and they touch on it a bit of like, you know, is he
Yeah.
the first Quaritch, or because it's his consciousness and his memories, but it's not. So what does that mean? Are you the same person? Are you not the same person? Are you a different
Well,
person
like
now?
at least in this movie, like the Navi, the new Quaritch is constantly like, "That's not me. I'm not different. I'm not even this
Right.
species that he was." Like, so clearly they identify as like, "I'm a new being."
Right.
But I would like to see them explore that more.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to say. Like, I wish they would explore that concept more. Like, the whole Avatar thing is such a secondary thing to this whole story. Like, you know, now
Oh yeah,
the first one,
Yeah.
it was a pretty important part, but now it's not really that important. So
and
they're-
to add to that, which I hope they dive into more, the reasoning, because he has a son that is introduced in this
Mhm.
movie as well, who goes by Spider, and he is a human boy
Spider.
who was left on the planet because he was a baby 10 years ago, and you can't put babies in cryosleep. So he had to stay on the planet with all the humans that were allowed to stay because they were good people. And he grew up. I got issues, not issues with Spider. I got some things about Spider. It's weird seeing this white boy with dreads and a loincloth run around the
Oh.
forest and
Oh,
stuff.
no.
Yeah.
That's the negative thing.
Also, I think his acting was the worst by far.
I think he was hit or miss, but yeah.
Yeah, I just thought he was like, all of his line deliveries were flat, and I don't know. I just didn't really love him as a character.
Yeah, I
at
didn't
all.
like him at first, but by the end, I was okay with him. I think he
Yeah.
did good enough stuff that I was like, okay, cool. But I will say, it seems like someone bet James Cameron. They're like, the Avatar was cool, but I bet you won't put a real person in a fully CG environment interacting with fully CG people and make it look good. Because dude, and James Cameron was like, bet, here, hold my beer. It looks fucking flawless, dude. It's so
Yeah.
nuts.
He does. Fit
He's
in
like
pretty well.
like legit touching, interacting, and it looks flawless.
Holy
It's
shit.
so
Yeah.
weird. That's the
Yeah.
biggest con to Spider's character.
Yeah, that's like, I mean, I don't know. This whole movie, you know, it's just for the visuals. It's just for like, can I get this shot? What about how would we make this shot? And then they go do it. How would we do this one? Then they go do it. Like, it's, you know, that's what I just keep reminding myself is like, it's not. Don't think
Yeah.
about it too hard, I guess.
Again, it wouldn't be as impactful at home on a smaller TV that everyone
Mhm.
has. So yeah, that's that. Also, yeah, Spider gets captured. Oh, that's what I was talking about. Spider gets captured by his father, and his Spider starts to like kind of teach him a little bit of the ways of the Navi people, which
Mhm.
is why I'm hoping maybe they'll get into that a little more because both of them survive. And spoilers, by the end of it, Spider chooses to, one, he saves his father's life.
Boo.
Right.
And two, he chooses to leave. He doesn't go, like his father's like, come with me. The bad guys come with me. And he's like, fuck you. I'm out. I'm going back with the people that I actually care about, which I thought was I thought that was a change then. Like, I feel like traditionally he would have just went with him and Spider's going to become a villain type of thing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But so I kind of gave him props that, no, he stuck with it. He stuck with, no, I'm going to go back and fuck you.
Next story is about Spider. Calling it. He's going to be the main character.
I don't want that.
No, I don't think anybody wants
They'll
that.
inject him in a blue person. So it won't be
Spider
a
needs to
villain.
put some shorts on, bro.
Oh, no. His man's dick is
Yeah.
hanging out.
But yeah, so the reef people and all the underwater stuff looks incredible.
Mhm.
I don't know why Kate Winslet had to hold her breath for 7 minutes at one point because she don't ever do that in this movie.
She did?
Yeah, she like famously went around. She's like she learned to like free dive and hold her breath underwater for like 7 minutes because of this movie.
I remember that, yeah.
She ain't ever do that ever. She never does it.
Oh my god, that's funny. They have like the initiation sequence, and you know, like, oh, this is like you used to ride the tree like fly things. Now there's ones that go underwater too and also fly,
Right.
and you got to learn how to
Yeah.
hold on to them. And also, there's these whales that like have connected memories, and like, so these like pods of whales swim around, and they like have this really close connection with the tribe, and they're like, you know, it's this
Mhm.
beautiful thing that obviously gets completely fucked by the humans. You know, so they have this like nice thing, and these whales have like, you know, these like Maori tattoos and stuff all over them. It's very cool.
Very Maori inspired, which is very cool.
Also,
Yeah.
I think was it the tribe chief?
That is played by a man named Cliff Curtis, who you've definitely seen before. He's in a million things. He's also played a million races because Hollywood is, the way they are. They're like, you brown, you Mexican, you brown, you Middle Eastern, you brown. Now you can actually play what you are, which I'm pretty sure he actually is. Like, I think he's from New Zealand, or at least he is like a Maori. So very cool that he actually got to do that. He's phenomenal in everything he's in. He's great. He's a great actor. Funny enough, since we're obviously talking about him, unless I'm mistaken, he's the only person to be in both Avatar franchises.
Really?
Because he also played Fire Lord Ozai in that terrible live action movie. And I was like, yo, what the fuck?
That's so funny.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so awesome.
So now he gets to be like, I'm in the bad Avatar and the good Avatar.
As soon as you was like, yeah, he's the guy that plays every race, I was like, I think he's in.
Yep.
That's
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
That's great. Yeah. That's fantastic.
No, but I like the new reef people. I like how they're like design wise, like because they're based off the water, they have their arms are almost like fins, their tails are thicker like fins, so they can swim and hold their breath underwater for longer. I kind of liked all those cool like inclusions, and like the whole point of the movie is that Jake Sully's family are all forest people, so they have to learn to adapt and to live here, because they're like, you can't just live here and look, we're not gonna just protect you and you just live off of us. You gotta work. You're gonna have to learn to live with us. Speaking of the reef people, the chief's children absolutely try to commit murder when they send Loak to go fishing. They trick him, and Loak nearly gets eaten by a giant fish.
Oh my, that was cool.
And I'm like, that was a terrifying, like a genuinely terrifying, like Jaws like sequence. And those kids were going to have him killed.
No, man, it was just a little bit of light hazing, bro.
It's fucking nuts, man. I couldn't believe it.
Pandora's pretty metal. Everything's bigger. Everything's crazier. Don't go swimming. It was pretty crazy.
He gets saved by one of the space whales, which are called the Tulkun. The whale's name is Payakan, who I adore and is the best fucking companion ever. And you learn more about them and how this particular Tulkun is like an outcast, because kind of unclear in the sense that he, like, when the humans were hunting him and his like pod of whales, they were attacked. And I feel like the flashback showed that he didn't even attack back, but it just because he survived, they outcasted him.
That's fucked up. What?
It's a little weird, but yeah. So they all think he's like this killer, and he killed all these other Navi and the Tulkun. But then you find out in the flashback, no, they were actually attacked, and he's actually not a bad whale.
That was one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen. Like that they do like because the kid goes into like his memories, and like they've already established how beautiful this relationship is with these whales and the the tribe and stuff, and how like old and ancient and how, all this wisdom that they have. And then it does the flashback of how he lost like his pod, and they're just getting like brutally massacred by the humans. Like
he gets his fin blown off.
Disturbing.
Oh my God.
Like, I don't know why we have to see that. Like, I don't know. I was just
because
like,
you have to hate the humans, Devin. Well, that's the point.
I know.
I already do.
But it's just like the fact that this is now casually happening on this planet because Jake Sully ran away, like, to go hide instead of like fighting the humans. It was just like, I don't know. It was very sad. So anyway, but that's that character.
Basically. Let's quickly talk about Kiri real quick a little more. So like we were saying, she's Pandora Jesus. She's an Immaculate Conception baby. But also they do a thing where she connects to like Awa, which is the god, which I have a theory, I think, because Grace dies in the first movie, obviously. But she dies like in the middle of trying to transfer her human consciousness to her avatar body consciousness. And I think Awa impregnated her avatar at that moment by using that little bit of grace that was almost like halfway through the transfer, and that's why Sigourney Weaver is still able to play Kiri. But also, I wonder if we'll get into that anymore, because Kiri is, again, she's very connected to Awa to the point where she can connect to like any kind of organism and control the plants and the life forms around it. She's very connected. But also, they say she has epilepsy because she has a seizure in this movie when she connects to like the big underwater tree type of thing. And I wonder if that is actual epilepsy or if that's because she's Jesus,
Oh God.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there is a really funny scene where when she connects to the tree, Kiri talks to human Sigourney Weaver. So I like the fact that Sigourney Weaver just had a scene with herself.
She talks to herself.
I think at that point I realized how like out of it I was like, what the fuck is going on in this movie right now? Like, it's just like this like white hazy like thing, and Sigourney Weaver's talking and stuff. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Sigourney Weaver in Awa, because she got absorbed into Awa, right? Because all the ancestors get absorbed into
Right.
Awa, and that's what it is. It's like the collective souls of everything on this planet is all in the god. And then, like, I think maybe Sigourney Weaver's now in that because she got connected to the tree in the first one. So maybe she sent herself through the I don't know. Maybe, you know,
I don't know.
Who knows?
James Cameron. He probably doesn't.
So a question for the next movie.
Right. All right. Last things, really. Let's quickly get into this final battle, which again I think is pretty incredible to watch because the kids all get captured by the bad guy.
Oh, of course.
That's how the battle's about to start, and Jake Sully's about to give himself up to trade for his kids. And Payakan, the whale of Loak, the bus buddy, he looks and sees that they're captured. And I just love they do a great thing with all the creatures, but in this moment in particular, I think nailed it. It's like one of the best cinematic moments where the music's like really kicking off, and you see Payakan the whale like physically frustrated at the bottom of the ocean. He's like destroying rocks and like kicking up sand because he doesn't know what to do. He wants to fight, but he's outcasted because he fought. So it's really done well. And then he just fucks it. He says, fuck it. And he just shoots up Free Willy style, lands on the fucking human boat. And then the fight starts. He's just trashing people. He's crushing them. He's because like their like skin is like basically bulletproof. And so like they're just fucking shit up. And then that's when all the Na'vi, Jake Sully, and everyone started attacking. And again, I just think James Cameron is a great action director. And it's just very fun to watch.
Which we can see is pretty hard to do. We've watched so many Marvel movies where especially like Act 3 stuff or like ending act stuff is not great. it's not
right,
great.
Right.
So to see stuff like that where it sounds like it is great, that is something that's not nothing, I guess, you know. And sure, we're using CG and stuff, so it's a little bit easier than to direct a human being to, you know, fly.
Right.
And so maybe that's a thing as well. But even then, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool action sequence. There's like they got the helicopters, they got the flying things too, because the Quaritch, the colonel, the Marine colonel has like they captured some of the flying things from the first one, so they're flying around. You got the other people flying from underneath and then going up above water and then back underwater and stuff. I mean, it was a pretty cool fight scene.
The humans have these like really cool like robotic crab suits that I was like, oh, those are cool designs, you know?
Yeah, because James Cameron is a big environmentalist, but he's also a big gearhead. So it's like this Avatar is like the perfect combination of his two things. But you know, this whole movie was just like him just jamming together his favorite two movies. Is like Titanic. Avatar,
oh my god, everything he's ever done is in this movie.
Yeah. Alien, just throw it all together. Throw it all together.
Yeah.
What if could we make $4 billion if I put this $2 billion movie with this $2 billion
right.
movie and then jam it to put it all together? There's one moment that I just killed me in this fight where they had, I think he's one of the Flight of the Conchords guys. He's a goofy guy.
Yes, Jermaine Clement. Yeah.
Okay, him. So Brian, I don't know if you probably know this guy's face. He has like the big sideburns in the front of the Concords. But anyway, he plays like a scientist who's like, you know, really sad about what they do to these whales.
Oh.
And at one point, he's on this like PT boat that has like this harpoon.
Oh.
And somehow or another, like they harpoon something, or they're getting pulled around, or like they're
the whale. Payakan the whale grabs the harpoon rope and like ties it around himself. And
then it just cuts to him as he's on this PT boat. Okay, he's on this ship, and he's like, "Who's got the harpoon now?" And then they just get whipped, like they die. I'm pretty sure they die.
I think they might all die.
And it's just funny because he's very much on this PT boat, like, who's got the harpoon now? Like, you know, happy that he's about to fucking get wrecked in this ocean. Like, I just thought it was really funny.
Yeah, there's like a big like captain who's like kind of a total D-bag the whole time. And the whale gets the rope like wrapped around the ship. It's like not even like a rope. It's like a steel cable kind of rope to the point where it's shredding through the rope because the whale is pulling it, and it captures the dude's arm, and the whale yanks it, and you see the dude's arm get ripped off. It's like brutal shit.
What is this movie reading?
And he just dies.
Yeah.
This movie's PG?
I was wondering if they could sneak that in there.
Apparently.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's wild.
It was kind of nuts. Obviously, like we said, the oldest son dies because the other son just fucks up. He doesn't even fuck up. He's just constantly getting into trouble because he wants to help. And this finally happened where his brother dies. He catches a bullet, dies. It's very sad. And this is where shit goes nuts because Neytiri, Zoe Saldana's character, just loses it. She's in full mourning rage mode, just screaming her ass off. She just kills.
That was wild.
everyone.
She
It was
yeah,
nuts.
She went beast mode.
It was amazing to watch.
Yeah.
To the point where at one point she shoots or she grabs one of her arrows, she stabs a normal human, which it's like stabbing a human with a spear because they're huge. She stabs it through the human, then uses her bow to shoot that same arrow out the other end of that human into another person's eye. It was
That's so
fucking nuts,
fucking badass.
dude.
Wait,
Yeah. It was.
Yeah.
They definitely thought about the choreography.
that's some anime level
'Cause it
shit
was
right
wild.
there. That's some Mikasa stuff.
Yeah.
Jake Sully at one point takes a spear and impales a dude into the ground with one. There's some brutal shit, surprisingly,
Yeah.
in this movie.
Yeah.
What on earth? I had no idea.
Yeah. That same
Yeah.
Neytiri was a little like, ooh, she is an
I
alien.
thought this was a movie about feeling good.
No,
No,
man. Like,
no, no.
it's yeah.
This was a big feel bad movie
Yeah.
for me.
And to the point where at the end, because it's established earlier in the movie that Neytiri does not like Spider. She still considers him a human, a demon, an alien. She does not like him being like, he's almost like their fifth kid at this point because he's around them so much.
Right.
To the point where the bad guy has Kiri a hostage and Jake Sully's out of ammo. He can't do anything. And Neytiri grabs Spider and holds him hostage. And she's like, I'm going to kill your fucking son. A
Yeah.
son for a son. My son's dead. I will kill your son. Release my daughter. And the villain's like, do it. I don't care. He's not even my species. And she calls his bluff. She's like slices his chest and he's like, he freaks out. He says no. So clearly he cares, which I thought was a good twist. I was like, okay, he actually cares about this kid.
Yeah.
And I also like that they stuck with Neytiri. I 100% believe she was going to kill him. She would have
yeah.
killed him given the chance.
Oh, yeah.
She did not give a fuck, dude.
That's
Nah.
crazy.
And I love that.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
But I mean, look at Neytiri. She was like, fuck the humans, man. I mean, they've wrecked everything
Yeah.
she's ever known. Like,
I kind of wish she was in this movie more. I understand why,
Yeah.
because it's so focused on the kids.
yeah.
But man, Zoe is so good in this fucking movie, man.
Yeah.
And I wish there was more of her.
Neytiri definitely did not get a lot of enough time in this movie for sure.
Yeah. But the time she had, she made it count.
Yeah.
Word.
That and just a couple last things. Right before Jake Sully has a big one-on-one with the villain, they get the kids back. He lets go of her and they take Spider and they're all about to leave. And the villain's like, Jake, you're really going to leave knowing I'm out here? I'm going to hunt you down every day, all day, every day. And Jake Sully just stops and he's just like, fuck it. Let's finish it now. And he just charges at him and they start fighting. I was like, yo, that was dope.
He was like,
Yeah.
good point. You make a good point.
Yeah.
You know what? Fair.
So I kind of like those different, like in the way that I thought this movie would have just been like the first one. Like I thought all of the whales would show up at the end, but James Cameron didn't do that. It was just the one whale, and that was it. So I kind of like he could have easily made this exactly the same plot, but he made subtle differences that were at least enough for me that I appreciate.
I wish he had done that though, because the fact that this movie ends with the humans
all
still,
the whales would have fucked. The bite would have been in 10 minutes. It would have been done.
But I think the reason is because they, obviously they were setting it up for a third one. Because I thought, but because like they can't kick the humans off yet. I guess I want all of Avatar to end. I just have anxiety knowing that there's humans still on Pandora. Okay, we need to kick them all off. All right, just kick them all off. They need to all go again. Just don't come back.
I
here.
definitely thought by the end the forest people would show up as reinforcements, and that would be like the big battle to come. But I'm like, he's probably saving that, for like Avatar 4. So
Yeah.
Avatar 4. Now that's already thinking that far ahead.
Something.
Isn't the third one gonna be called something crazy like Pregnancy of Cain or something like that? What was that?
I don't know.
It's something weird that has to do with like pregnancy.
We'll talk about the future, but apparently it's gonna be fire Navi or in
Yeah, I
that
heard
movie.
about that there. The
Literally
Ash
just
Fell.
copying Avatar. This man.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yep.
What do I have to learn to ride on this time? A dragon, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it would be a fire-breathing dragon.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Ugh.
And this is where James Cameron, by the end, he does Titanic again. They're all trapped in a ship, literally sinking, and they're about to drown. I'm like, yo, he really did chuck in every movie he's done into this movie.
He won't fit on the board. He won't fit.
Hey James, how are we going to do this shot of like a sinking ship and the water's coming up? Oh, I've done that before. Don't worry
I
about
got
that.
this. Don't worry. I've done this. This is not my first rodeo.
Yeah.
But this is the part where I actually enjoyed this in the sense that all of the parents are trapped with some of the kids, but all of the kids are the reasons the parents survive. Every single child saves their parents. So like Kiri saves Neytiri and the little sister Took. Lowak saves Jake Sully, and then even Spider saves Quaritch from drowning. reluctantly, but he still does. And I kind of like how all of those parallels went together.
Mhm.
And it was just a really emotional moment. It got me. Kiri uses her Jesus powers to command some fish to help them out. Um, Payakan helps Jake Sully not drown, and he saves them at the end. I don't know. For some reason,
Mhm.
that worked for me. But any shit with like a parent and a child, that usually gets me pretty easily, and that kind of worked.
You do love some daddy daughter shit.
Yeah, but I think it needs to be noted that Quaritch was dead for a good like 10 minutes under the water. Like Jake Sully like chokes him out as they're both underwater.
Yeah.
And somehow Spider drags him and he's just like like, you know, wakes up and it's like, bro, you were
Right.
underwater for a good 20 to 30 minutes. Like
It's a
you
long
are not
time.
alive. Like this man absolutely drowned. Like, I don't know, I call
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah. He's not all there right now. He needs some help.
You got put to sleep underwater. And then you didn't die. Like when you also were underwater then for another 10 to 15 minutes. Like,
Do you remember in the first movie where he holds his breath for like an hour?
When? In the first
As a
one?
human man, he like opens one of the containers to shoot Sully, and he's
Oh,
holding
yeah.
his breath for like
The entire
for like
time.
30 minutes. It's like a ridiculous amount of time.
Yeah. True, fair point.
The man's lung capacity is nuts.
He is the Terminator, if anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it ends with like basically their oldest and Tam's funeral, and in a really sweet way, Jake Sully he connects to the tree and he gets to see his son as a child and then as a grown man, and it's a really well done scene, I thought. And that's it. It's very good. Again, I think everyone should fucking see this movie in theaters before it's gone. Granted, it's gonna be in there for I think a little while longer. It's gonna, it wants that top spot.
Yeah. Ugh.
That's it. Real quick, I just want to see any future thoughts, because this one definitely sets up a sequel more than the first one did. This is very much like
Yeah.
everything's not tied up neatly in this one.
As long as there's humans still left on the planet, because like the first one, it's like, oh, we're gonna kick them all off. Like, we're gonna take down the shuttle, take down the whole military. They all gotta go. This one, it's like one whaling ship, which is like a common, like there's more of these whaling ships out there, like on the ocean.
Exactly.
So it's very low. It's a very, very small victory at the end of this movie. So
Exactly.
I'm really hoping that they, kick them all off by the end of the series.
Right. And I do wonder, I have a feeling with this introduction of the Fire Navi that I don't think the humans are going to be the villains every time. I
Right.
would not be surprised if there's a weird like Navi civil war in one of these
Especially
movies.
if they have
like
completely different ways of life, which I feel like the Fire Navi, if anything,
Right.
would be the ones to be like, we don't
Right.
do shit the way y'all do shit around here. Get the fuck away or something
Right.
like that. Or they may be so
Exactly.
far removed from the other Navi that they just have never experienced them, have seen that they even know that other ones exist. I don't know.
Right. And that's why I thought he might go with this movie, was to not have the humans come back yet, and maybe have them come back in 3 or 4, but they brought them back so quick that it very much became the first parallel with the first movie
That's
immediately. Fair. But yeah, but having some Navi only would be very cool to see, I think. And just not having the whole dynamic of the humans.
I mean, we already know like 3 is done. He shot 3 at the same time as this. It is in the can. It is done. That's supposed to release in 2024. I'm assuming because it takes that much time for them to render all this shit.
Probably, yeah.
And he has also said he's shot scenes from 4, particularly with the children, because he said he didn't want that weird Stranger Things effect of them growing up and it looking weird, And like we said, it crosses 1.89 billion this weekend. It's probably past that at this point, which means it's gonna probably get to 2 billion, which was kind of the bar that they needed it to clear to get 4 and 5. So James Cameron's like, well, I guess I'm making Avatar 4 and 5 and not just 3, and I'm doing this for the next 8 years.
Fucking wild.
For the rest of his life.
Nuts. I can't believe it. Well, I mean, because I don't know if you were there, Devin. Me and Brian predicted, like, do we think this will make as much money as the first one and be like the highest grossing movie of all time? Probably not. I definitely thought it would easily clear a billion.
No.
I thought 2 billion was going to be tough. Man, he making it look easy, dude.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think the difference is that the first one, it was because we hadn't seen anything like it before.
Right.
But now, after, because in the post-Avatar world, because Avatar pushed, what graphics could be so far forward, we're used to seeing like, really, really good looking Thanos and stuff like that in the years leading up to this one. So this time it was less like, novel, I guess. It was more, we were just kind of more ready for it. Like
that was my biggest fear, was that it wouldn't, lightning can't strike twice. You know what I mean? It just didn't seem like
Right.
that kind of situation. So at least that's what I was thinking. That like, but apparently I was
Right.
obviously incredibly wrong with this.
Apparently, James Cameron is Zeus.
Right, because this man is just hitting them at one after one. But yeah, I thought exactly what you thought. I mean, like in the time we're 2023, so much shit has now exist on this level that it's like maybe I guess still not on this level, but we thought it'd be on the level of at least Avatar 1.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Once again, he pushed the bar, I guess.
I was just gonna say, after the first movie, I was like, damn, that planet is so cool. Like, I really just want to go see it. And then after this
Yep.
movie, it's like our oceans could be that cool if we just like didn't keep killing them. Like,
Didn't
because like
fuck it
our
up.
oceans have some freaking dope shit in them.
I mean,
So,
yeah, I think the first thing I texted you guys after I saw this was I want to be a blue cat.
Yeah.
Solidified.
I know,
for
And I
man.
stand by it.
There was one moment where like the sun is like he's sitting there like staring down with the whale, and the whale like opens his mouth and stuff. And I'm like, he made this movie so he could make like kind of weird blue cat people interact
Yep.
with like lobster whale people. Like, what the fuck am I watching? Like, I'm just like, what
Yeah,
is this?
Yep.
I don't know. It was funny.
He's got quite it's like he's got the greatest imagination and also the worst because he just steals from other plots at points.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, man, the man can keep talking because we can't say shit, man.
Yeah.
It's making all the money, man.
Yeah.
Like, god damn, dude. Yeah, this is why after those best of awards, me and Brian did last episode, that's why I had to say shout out to Avatar. It's probably my number 2 movie of that year
Mhm.
behind Top Gun. I still will give it the edge to Top Gun just because I don't know, something special about it. But the
Yeah.
more I see Avatar, man, I don't know, man. It's tough. It's
I mean,
tough.
Avatar was like kind of where you'd expect it. Top Gun just came out of nowhere. It's like, why
Top-
is
yeah,
this movie
exactly.
amazing? Like,
Right, right.
I don't know if I've ever felt like I have felt about Top Gun for sure.
It's true.
Yeah.
You're like,
And maybe
it's so
Avatar would be
weird.
another one for me because Avatar, I mean, I told you, I was like, I have almost zero interest in this franchise as a whole. I just don't understand. I was a younger
Yeah.
kid when the first movie came out, and like even then, I was like, okay, I mean, it's fine. I saw it more
Right.
than once, of course.
Mhm.
But then there's somehow it's going on here.
Somehow, man.
Makes
I
no
don't
sense.
know. Well, with that, as Jake Sully would say, this family is our fortress.
Boo. Tomato, tomato.
All right. Are y'all ready to hop to our final segment of the week, guys?
Hmm.
Let's do it.
Which final segment we like to call free for all, title pending. This is a segment, listeners. We kind of do whatever we want. We can recommend something, talk about our day, talk about life, take a nap, argue. It's free for all. Who would like to go first? Brian, it looks like you do.
I'd like to go
So-
first. Once again, this is something that kind of took place over our break that I decided to watch. And it's very interesting the things that exist in this world that for some reason come to fruition for no reason whatsoever. I want to talk about the show, miniseries actually, based on a property I don't give a fuck about, really. I decided to
Uh-oh.
watch this for some reason. The
Uh-oh.
Witcher Blood Origin.
Yeah.
I talked to
no.
you guys a little bit when it like
Here
first
you
came
go.
out because I watched it like day 1 or something ridiculous like that. I watched it way too early,
no.
not knowing it came out. But then seeing it was 4 episodes, and I was like, I could probably stomach that more than The Witcher itself. For the audience that
Mhm.
doesn't know, I haven't watched more than like 1 episode of The Witcher, and I haven't played more than like 10 hours of The Witcher 3 and maybe 2 hours of The Witcher 2. It's something that I want to get into. It's a world that I do want to explore, but it's just too damn dense, so I can't really find the time to do so. But this seemed
Mhm.
easy. This seemed simple. Long story short, the premise of this show, Blood Origin, is supposed to be set 1,200 years before the events of Geralt of Rivia's The Witcher. It's based around basically the creation of the first Witcher during the elven times or whatever, and it kind of like follows like a story being told by one of the fancy elves when she meets one of Geralt's, I don't know, what the fuck is the guy's name? Bard? Fucking.
Oh, Dandelion.
Yeah.
Dandelion / Yasker.
Yeah, so it's
Oh,
me telling a
yes,
story
yeah.
about that. This show isn't really based on anything. It's not really based on any of the books. It's not really based on any of the videos. It's not just really based on anything. It turns out it was just a shitty cash grab by Netflix to try to make something out of. So here's my thought process. What I
Yep.
think they probably did. They probably will never admit it, but I think they did. I think they started filming some other generic fantasy movie, TV show, or whatever. For whatever reason, it was going to get scrapped, and they knew they weren't going to be able to finish it. So they're like, let's take this, force fit it into something else, maybe film a few
Oh,
extra
no.
scenes, and then make it into something that people might want to watch by sticking The
Mhm.
Witcher on it. This show fucking sucks.
Yeah.
This show fucking sucks really, really
Nah.
bad. Like it fucking sucks. Like sucks. Like it's currently the worst rated TV show on Netflix right now. audience score wise at least.
Damn,
'Cause
really?
Dang,
it
man.
fucking blows chunks. So this is a 4-episode miniseries, which unfortunately has incredibly people. Michelle Yeoh's in this show for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Don't know
disrespectful
why.
to her legacy, considering she just won what, Best Actress for fucking everything, everywhere,
Right.
all at once.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
like, how did they? What kind of fucking bounty do they have on her head that they managed to get her in this piece of shit that they made?
I
Because
don't
if you like
know.
The Witcher, you won't enjoy any of this because it fucks up all the history with that. And then if you like general fantasy, it fucks up that because it's not an interesting show. The pacing is bad.
Yeah.
The characterization is bad. The set pieces are some of the worst sets I think I've ever seen on a TV show since a sci-fi TV
Just
show,
like
to be
cheap.
honest. They're so
Yeah.
cheap fucking looking. Awful, 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 awful. The banner is bad. The script is bad. It sucks because some of the actors in there, I hope they get other work. Michelle Yeoh is probably the only one that I know will be fine from this. These other people,
Right.
this might have bombed their entire career, and that would suck if that happens.
Damn.
This was a mockery of television
Ugh.
in every way, shape, and form I can think of, and no one should watch this show, whether you like The Witcher or not. And it sounds like I'm being overcritical. I am not.
Okay, look, I watched this.
You watched this. You watched this. How do you feel?
I did watch this. I don't feel as negative as you do, but it's definitely not. It should have been better. And funny enough,
Mhm.
I think its greatest strength and its greatest weakness is that it's 4 episodes. I think it should have been longer because
Oh.
there's a central theme. I'm not going to spoil anything of it. There's a central theme in this show between two characters that I think needed way more time
Yes.
for me to give a shit about.
There's nothing there that made you care about any of the characters in the story, really, because you'd have enough time to bake with them. Nothing
Exactly.
was
Right,
fully baked in
right.
the show. Everything came out completely raw in the middle.
Because I found myself caring about like a couple of the more minor characters, but me constantly just saying, I wish I saw more of them, you know?
Sure.
And then as far as like the Witcher stuff goes, there's some cool stuff in there by the end, but it's also just like
I don't like it.
it's fine. And again, I think it mostly just needed to be longer. Funny enough, I don't know why. Like they did the same thing with the Netflix Marvel shows, where it's like, why do you do it when you have the most characters on screen? You make it the shortest show.
Right.
It should be the opposite. What are you doing?
Right.
Yeah, Michelle Yeoh needed like she's barely in the she's in it, but like she needed more to do as well, considering she's Michelle Yeoh. But I thought she's like good in it. She's badass. She kicks some ass and
Yeah,
stuff.
her characterization.
Well, yeah, some of them sets are cheap.
and her storylines are bad too. Like her whole storyline is like everything's just so generic, but it's like to a painful
Yeah,
sense.
that's fair.
And it just can't
Yes,
afford to
yes.
be so
It feels
generic
like
in
a
a world
formula.
where fantasy has existed for so long right now. You can't do the whole thing where it's like, oh, I pretended the whole time that I was a bad guy and I'm not. Sorry, slight spoiler. Like shit like that is just so goofy and just overplayed and just not
Yeah.
necessary in this day and age where we can watch good fantasy. We have so much of it now.
Yeah.
And then I thought the whole Witcher aspect of it too, I thought it could have been cool, but it was so cheap that it felt bad
Yep,
to me.
that's
Yeah.
fair.
And
Yeah.
that really felt disrespectful too, because I thought there was an interesting thing happening there. Like, oh shit, like this is where this starts. This could be really. Oh, they're just gonna do that with it.
It's cool. It was the thing that they're like, this is gonna be great on paper, and then when they actually shot it, it's like, we still don't have enough budget here to make this
Yeah.
better.
This felt like a mix between someone making up a really cool Dungeons and Dragons like theme party or something, and then me playing my old Dragon Age save file from 2008 mixed together. Because like being an elf and everything like that, and some of the people that are in your party are like, okay, like these are like some pretty like BioWare ass written characters that they want you to love. But like you said, there's not enough
Right.
time to bake with them that you can love them. So you see them do 3 things on screen and then disappear and fuck off forever. And you're like, I like you. I like the main girl.
Yeah.
I like that. I thought she was great. I wanted to see more of her and
Yeah.
do more cooler things. But instead, she just decided to be the most generic protagonist ever, alongside just the whitest white man ever. And then that was just
Yeah.
the adventure.
And that, I will say, you're saying it's the lowest rated audience score on Netflix. I would also consider that's probably from horrible trolls that call this
Oh,
show woke
absolutely.
because of the casting.
Absolutely. Which really, that
Which
probably
sucks.
sucks too. But also, I don't think that they're necessarily like, even the critic score is pretty low. And I think they're right with just the
Right.
way that the show just didn't feel like it was made in good faith. Like, I
Yep.
think there were, it reminds me of Halo
Yeah.
a little bit, but worse than Halo for sure.
Mm.
Where it's like there was someone in that room that was doing their very fucking best, but then they were surrounded by 18 people that didn't do shit or didn't give a
Yep.
fuck about anything.
Yeah,
in here.
yeah.
And it's like that really sucks because some of those things, like some of that design choice for some of the costumes, I was like, that's not bad. That's not bad. This main
Yeah.
character, like that's not bad. What the
Yeah.
fuck is that over there? Like,
Right. It's very hit and miss. It's really weird. It's really weird. I would say people, Devin, I think you probably not like it, but you might find some enjoyment out of it just because you like that universe and there's some fun tidbits in it.
Yeah.
But it's And because it's setting stuff up for the main Witcher series by the end.
Right.
I think that's also the main reason why they're doing
I also don't care about that anymore.
Yeah, that's
it.
fair.
Right.
You know that's just getting canceled. Yeah,
Fair.
the only reason I can recommend it is because it's 4 episodes, so you're not wasting that much of your time if you are wasting your
Right.
time.
I mean, that
Yeah.
that is a huge
Yes.
thing. Like, mini
Yeah.
love a good mini.
It's pretty much the length of
Yeah,
Avatar.
I watched it in
Yeah.
about one sitting, so it was a rough sitting.
That's
Also,
good.
I was very proud of myself. As soon as I heard the hurdy-gurdy, I was like, is this Bear McCreary doing that music? It 100% was. That man is getting all the fantasy jobs,
love
bro.
that. Love that, bro.
That's funny. Yeah, just to me, I wish for that reason, I wish that like HBO or something had gotten the Witcher property because I feel like they would have done a better
Yeah.
job. than
I'm
this.
just so tired of taking my favorite things that I absolutely love and then giving it to the worst people that don't give a fuck about it, don't want anyone to read or
Yeah.
write or even understand a tidbit of that world,
Yeah.
and then making a whole ass property out of it. Stop doing that. Like,
Yeah.
hey,
This is why HBO is still kind of seeming to be king/queen of the court, man.
listen, Netflix is about to lose my subscription, and that was almost the cut. that was the nail in the coffin for me. Like, what the fuck is this, dude?
Yeah.
Nice.
Damn.
Very nice. Devin, what you got?
So around the holidays, I usually like to play a new game. Like I usually like to jump into like a new kind of escapism kind of game, like a Skyrim of sorts, or something where it's a big open world.
Oh, you meant like not a new game you haven't played before.
Just like a game with a big something to explore and like something you
Because
can just
Skyrim
kind of,
had been around for like 35
Yeah,
years.
yeah. So I'm just saying, like around the holidays, in between like
Okay.
that week between Christmas and New Year's, I usually try to pick up somewhere. It's like, where's like a world I can just kind of go explore, right? And so I finally picked up Assassin's Creed Valhalla,
Mm.
Oh,
which I had downloaded
man.
like a while ago. It is so they made a whole another game inside the game where you play as like Odin, and you can
Oh, boy.
you can put so many hours into that of like doing these like runs down into like Norse mythology and stuff. But the world itself is so massive. It's just too much to do.
Oh,
But-
no.
Yeah.
My point I wanted to get to about it was I was really curious how they were going to like square the fact that like as the assassins you're supposed to be the good guys, right? But like Vikings are just empirically not the good guys when they were like raiding and pillaging the English countryside. So I was really
Right.
curious to like how they're going to square that, ethically, and they don't really. Like it's
I was about to say, I bet you they don't.
it's a big part of the game where you just go raid like monasteries and villages and you're like burning people's homes down, and then you get like it helps the raid to like torch people's houses and stuff. And I'm like,
Jesus.
are we the baddies? And then like they square it by saying like there's certain lines you can watch out for where it's like, like, oh well, we took this, we made the settlement here, but you Anglo-Saxons weren't really doing anything with it before. I mean, it was just kind of a treat. I'm like, where have I heard that logic before? Maybe some
Well, the problem was they cut the scene where the English people, to make them seem like more villains, they were hunting whales in the ocean.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm
you
all-
couldn't
I'm
feel
all
as
in. Fuck
bad.
it. We gotta kick them all off the British Isles. But yeah, no, it's very funny as you're like pillaging a monastery and there's like a monk running away from you and you're like, I don't think that I'm the
Oh,
good guy
boy.
here, but oh well.
Yeah, funny enough, I also picked that game up for the holiday because it was like $15. I have
Mhm.
not opened it because I was like, maybe I'll return this or wait, see if it's cheaper. So it's still sitting on a desk somewhere in its plastic wrap.
Oh my
Yep.
god. That's
Well,
so
don't
funny.
ever open it because it's too much.
I'm just like,
Yeah, but it is like it's impressive though. It does it, and I think with a new one with Mirage, they're trying to go with a smaller map and actually like make
Thank
it kind of
God.
more contained because this one was almost
Right.
too ambitiously big. Like, not just
Yeah.
did they do like this whole other side thing with like the Norse mythology where you can spend hours in that, but there's like a whole nother thing where you can do like river raids and there's just too much to do. Like it's too
Yeah.
big.
I'm still trying to play Odyssey.
I
Yeah.
mean, Odyssey's also big. And when I hear
Too
that
big.
Valhalla's bigger, I'm like, no.
Yeah, it's way too big.
That's like 500 hours, dude. I got
Oh,
time
yeah,
for
no,
that.
I'm not. What?
I've definitely given up on like trying to find every like little point on the map. I'm just going for this straight through the story. Maybe for the first
Right.
time ever.
How many hours are you in it now?
I think like probably 20, something like
Oh,
that.
okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah,
Nice.
but
Nice.
I'm barely getting started, so it's like it's too
right,
much.
right. It's actually like two missions.
Yeah,
All right, I will quickly go. And by quickly, I mean I'm just gonna list like 8 things because I've been catching up on a lot of shit over this break that we've had. I got Modern Warfare for Christmas.
Nice.
Ooh.
It's fine. It's fine. It's the multiplayer is still pretty good. The story, which should have been better, but graphically it's incredible. But the single player itself, which is the thing that I look forward to because I thought the first Modern Warfare was so good, it's fine. It should have been better though. Considering
Mm,
Modern Warfare 2, the original is like pretty damn amazing,
mhm.
on like Xbox 360, PS3 days or whatever. So did that. I also, like I said, watched Witcher Blood Origin like Brian. I watched Old Enough season 2 came out on Netflix
Ah,
really recently. Everyone should watch the show. It's so amazing and fun
old
and
enough,
emotional.
amazing.
Watching these children run around doing
Oh,
errands. I've
okay.
talked about the
Yeah,
season.
yeah, yeah.
Season 2 hit Netflix. It's only 10 episodes. They're each like 20 minutes long. It's the best thing in the world,
Man,
man.
I
It's the best thing in the
love
world.
old enough. That is such a
Ugh.
good. What an idea for a show.
Yeah, such a good time. Funny, I went back, not went back for the first time. I finally watched the first Knives Out.
Oh,
Ah,
have you never seen that?
No, I just missed the
Uh,
boat.
yeah, that was a very good movie.
And so I finally watched that just so I could also watch Glass Onion because I was like, I'm gonna get all this spoiled for me at some point. Sadly, I did get. I'm not gonna spoil either
mhm.
movie now. I got the spoiler for the first Knives Out already, so I already knew who the villain was. But it was still a fun watch. Still very thoroughly enjoyed both movies. I think, funny enough, I think I like Glass Onion more
Oh.
by the end of it. I think I like that Glass Onion is seemingly more of an ensemble piece than Knives Out was. Glass Onion,
Mhm.
basically, by the time it ended, I was like, this is what I thought Knives Out was going to be.
Mhm.
Whereas Knives Out was like, oh, it's not entirely an ensemble piece as I thought it would be,
Mhm.
Mhm.
based off the casting,
They're both very good. It was the one thing that gives me some little modicum of respect for Ryan Johnson, but also they're also both the same. Where it's like, oh, I gotta subvert expectations, like motherfucker.
It's very much, both movies are very much a thing where it's like, it's basically impossible for you to guess what happens
Yeah, exactly.
because
Purposefully, I
it's
hate that.
not the point.
Yeah,
It's not the point,
that makes me
Yeah.
kind of mad.
The man only knows how to subvert your expectations, Brian. That's all he knows how to do. He will lead you down a breadcrumb trail. He'll drop them all along the trail. And then he'll just come in with a frying pan and just bash you over the side of the head of like, no, you're supposed to see this. And then give you
Right.
the clues at the very end with no context
Yeah.
or clues.
I don't like that.
Sorry, I like those movies, but not The Last Jedi.
I'm about to say.
Just don't do it in Star Wars, please.
And then I finally went back and finished the entire series of Stargirl, like one of the last remaining CW shows. I didn't watch season 2 or 3. Season 3 just ended. And I will say it's probably the second best CW show they have. And it was actually genuinely good and emotional. And it's probably also because it's only like 12 or 13 episodes each season. So it's not the 24 episode filler bullshit that every other CW show is, basically. And I enjoyed it. By the end, I was like, oh, this is and luckily it ends. They gave it a proper ending, even though, because I think they had like a little more notice than some of the other shows that they were getting canceled. So they were able to seemingly reshoot like an epilogue. So that was fun. That was good. I enjoyed that. I'm also happy that show is done. Now I got another CW. That's basically another CW show down. We're done.
Love that for you.
And then last thing, I watched the entire first season of Abbott Elementary. My sister is really into the show, and it's a lot of fun. It's basically about teachers in a Philadelphia elementary school, and it's like a mockumentary via like the Office and Parks and Rec. But it's a lot of fun. It's a really funny show. Shout out to the woman that plays the principal because she is a hot mess and doesn't know how to do her job. But she has some of the best one-liners in the entire series, and I'm excited to start season 2.
Yeah, I've actually just
Mhm.
started watching. I watched a couple episodes of that yesterday,
Oh,
just
nice.
randomly, and yeah, I'm loving it so far. I think it's great to see her go from fucking BuzzFeed to make an award-winning television show. Like that's just crazy.
Oh, is that who that is? I had
Yeah.
no idea. Yeah.
What's her name? Kita Brunson.
What network
Yeah.
is that on? I was going to ask.
It's like I think it's an ABC show. It's ABC.
Yeah.
Okay. Abbott Elementary.
Abbott Elementary.
I'll
Yeah.
have to
Hilarious
hit
show.
that up.
Really
Season
funny.
2 is currently on now. I think they're like maybe 8 episodes into season 2 right now. Yeah. Just got
Okay.
renewed for season 3, so good for them. Sweet.
Heck yeah.
And then my last thing, just to, as usual, shout out to God of War Ragnarok. All right. We're good to go.
Long one. Lot to get through.
That is our show, listeners. We've done it once again. You can email us at thefortress@gmail.com. Fortress spelled FOUR. Feel free to email us any questions, feedback, recommendations, or anything like that. Also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and the YouTube channel at The Fortress of. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandma, tell your cat. Rate and review us. Pretty much 5 stars if you'd like to, but whatever. Thank you, Jackie, for helping out at the podcast every week. Thank you, Brian, for the art. Thank you, Alex, for the music. Devin, thank you for being here even when you're not here. You can find Brian on Instagram at ITZ_. By the way, Alex at Peterson Films. Devin, you can find him running away from the ocean because he doesn't want to see any more whales being hurt.
Oh,
He's
God.
avoiding the ocean at all costs.
Yep. I don't need that.
Next week, maybe some predictions, some 2023 predictions, maybe, or something else. I don't know. But look out for some Fourtress Finest on the Last of Us HBO series. I think we are actually doing that. That's going to be a lot of fun. So look out for those on the feed as well. And, hope you all had a happy holidays, but also happy holidays, everyone. And, put a code on. Let's go out there.
God.
Brian, this was the time you could have started a new bit. It's the new year. We start fresh, and you came with nothing. You came with nothing.
The bit is that I didn't watch Avatar.
How about maybe wear sunscreen? Wear sunscreen, everybody. That's just good life advice in general. All the time.
We don't give good life advice here. What do you think
No,
we are?
we don't. We don't give any good advice on anything. All right, everyone. We'll see you here next week in another episode of The Fourtress of